Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and click on the link in the description box below to sign up for the Tiger Fitness newsletter. Within a week of publishing this video, we will give out a $50 gift card to tigerfitness.com to one lucky person who does all of these steps. Boom! What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, tigerfitness.com CEO, MTS Nutrition. There's a link, first link you see down below, top 10 bodybuilders of all time. Read that, because at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a way you could win one of two $50 gift cards from just commenting in that section. Most and least impressive bodybuilders of all time. Not only am I a mediocre professional bodybuilder, however, I am also someone who's been in the industry. Not only have I worked at Weider Publications, Muscle and Fitness, Flex, and all those, but I have also trained with and been friends with a lot of the top bodybuilders of our time, including Dorian, Ronnie, Phil, all those guys, right? So I not only am a pro, I've also judged over 50 bodybuilding shows in my tenure. I worked at Weider. As much as any pundit on here on YouTube, I can give my opinion on bodybuilding because I've been there, done that, judged it, and I am one. A lot of these guys you see critiquing bodybuilders and giving advice, they don't even compete. They've never worked for Weider. So I'm going to just go out on a limb. I'm going to say, who are you to say? Well, that's my credentials. I'm going to go over the most and least impressive bodybuilders of all time. I'm also going to go over some other categories. And then the last one, I'm going to blow your freaking mind with the least impressive bodybuilder of all time. You need to stay for that. You're going to want to know what I say, because it's going to blow your mind. I kid you not. Most impressive, most gifted, most natural talent, biggest letdown, biggest overachiever, and the most overrated are the categories, the 6 categories I'm going over. Let's start with the most gifted of all time. Phil the Gift Heath. Phil Heath's muscle bellies are from another world. His 3D look in person. If you've seen pictures of Phil Heath, you truly don't know how epic Phil Heath is. You have to see him in person to know that his muscle bellies have muscle bellies. He has a 3D look like no other person I have ever seen. Phil Heath is definitely the most gifted bodybuilder of all time, and it doesn't mean he's the most genetically gifted. I think he's just the most overall gifted as far as his talent in basketball, his work ethic, which is pretty good. People say he doesn't train very hard. I've trained with him. Phil gets it done when he has to. Phil just knows when to turn it on and turn it off, because he was a D1 basketball player, and basketball players, they know when to get in game mode and when to not. And you can tell he has experience in elite athletics just from his demeanor, his poise. Sure, he talks a little trash to trolls online, but that's because Phil's West Coast. I'm West Coast, so I got to give it up to my man Phil. Most gifted bodybuilder of all time. Guys, I'm going to leave some people out, and you're going to be mad. Okay, I'm going to go over why I did at the end. There's a couple I just want to mention because I'm friends with them, but I didn't think they made this list. They probably agree with me. Best natural talent of all time. A man who could come back at 52 years old and look respectable on the Olympia stage. That's none other than Kevin Levrone, a man who I once gave a ride home when I worked at Weider Publications. I once gave a ride home. I lived in Sylmar. He had a girl or something staying in Sherman Oaks, so on the way home, I went from Woodland Hills, dropped him off, and then went home. He was about 180 pounds, maybe, in my car. He said he was getting ready for Olympia, and I believe it was 11 weeks. I said, hey, yeah, right. Got on stage at 240. That was the year Ronnie brought his best package ever. Levrone is a freak. Levrone is a genetic freak. Levrone is the best natural talent of all time. Also realize Levrone didn't train most of the year. He was in his rock band full blown. Imagine if Levrone put as much attention to training back then than he did now when he made his comeback to the Olympia. Levrone would have won multiple Olympias, and I believe he might have even beaten Ronnie if he would have trained with the utmost intensity like he could have and realized his gift. Woo, I'm getting excited. The biggest letdown in bodybuilding history is Marc Lobliner. Not just the biggest letdown overall, it's Flex Wheeler. Flex Wheeler was the uncrowned Mr. Olympia, the guy with just so much talent that he never realized. Flex had issues. He was attacked by ninjas, and basically his personal demons got the best of him. He was at a time when Cormier was out partying, known for his partying antics, and him and Flex were the two I remember the most back in those days. And I gotta say, I never thought that Flex would not win a Mr. Olympia. I know he's making a comeback this year to Classic Physique. I wish him the best. However, I will say that Flex is the most underachieving bodybuilder that didn't live up to what he should have. Whatever his reasons may be, the ninjas attacking him or whatever it is, it would be Flex. Whew, oh man, we got 3 more to go in the last two. Seriously, if the camera was down a little lower, you'd see how excited I am right now. The biggest overachiever, the man who shouldn't have been as good as he was. The Shadow. Dorian Yates! Dorian Yates! I trained with this man. I trained with Dorian. When he would get, like, between sets, Dorian would be, this after he was retired, man, Dorian would be chill, man. Dorian would be talking about girls, talking about steak, just talking. Once his set came, his eyes would glaze over. This man would attack the set with intensity that I've never thought possible. Dorian had pretty thick waist, not the best structure, but he outworked everybody. And Dorian is by far 6-time Mr. Olympia, Dorian Yates, the biggest overachiever in bodybuilding history. The most impressive bodybuilder of all time. I am biased as fuck. Not only is he a personal friend of mine, but I was there in the early 2000s. 290 pounds, shredded glutes, a back that I don't think any camera lens can get its entirety in it. Ronnie Coleman. I remember the Olympia, he came on stage, I believe it was 03. 290 pounds, body fat undetectable. When he stepped on stage, sometimes, I remember when Branch Warren would come on stage, when he was in his prime, people people go nuts, the grains. When people they didn't like came on stage, who got bad placings, right? Who got better placings than they should have, they'd boo. All right? When Ronnie stepped on stage that year, I'm going to take you back. I was in the suite. I worked at Weider at the time with clients. I was in advertising and marketing. Hey, and they said, and now, Ronnie Coleman. We looked down. We were kind of passively watching everybody do their thing. Everyone shut up. You could hear a pin drop in the arena. People didn't know whether to gasp, to clap, or to jump up and down, or to die. Ronnie Coleman is the most impressive bodybuilder of all time. Yep. The least impressive, most overrated bodybuilder of all time. I'm ready for the haters on this one because I'm going to go and I'm going to be honest. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hear me out. Arnold brought more fame and attention to our sport, his charisma, his good looks, and his acting skills. We owe a debt to Arnold to getting our sport to where it was. I think it's kind of regressed at this point. But we owe a great debt to Arnold for what he did for our sport. However, Arnold's legs were never impressive. Arnold never brought true conditioning. Arnold arguably won a couple Olympias that he shouldn't have won. Arnold was the political favorite to win. Arnold almost had to win because of what he brought to the sport. Arnold's revered as what physique should look like. I digress. Arnold's physique, specifically his legs, his chest and arms were magnificent. His back was good. But you can't state that his legs were worthy of being called the best bodybuilder of all time. Arnold, in his prime Olympia condition in the 70s, would not even place top 5 at nationals and get a pro card. Arnold at his time was good. In fact, he was great. But to say that he is the greatest of all time is like comparing a Model T to a Tesla. Okay? The Model T was great at the time. It fucking went forward. We got much better cars now. Much bigger. Shit, my Denali has air-conditioned seats. Nah, Arnold is definitely the most overrated, least impressive bodybuilder of all time. You don't agree with me? See that article down below? That top 10 bodybuilder? Comment in that comment section. Of those who comment, we will find you. Of course, subscribe to this channel and like this video. We will find you. And we'll give you a $50 gift card to random comments chosen. Make them good comments, because that will stand out. We might choose them. It's random. People I missed. Kai Green. Kai Green's amazing. Brings a lot to the sport. Not a champion. Never won an Olympia. Definitely not the best natural talent. Not the most gifted. Not the biggest letdown. Not the biggest overachiever. Guy won worlds, WMBF natural worlds at 18 years old. Definitely a freak. Lee Haney. Great Olympian. Great man. Again, didn't see him fitting these categories. There's a lot of other people I could have put in here. However, these are my choices. What do you think? Click the link down below. Comment, like, subscribe, share. We love you too. That's not a game.